Hi, I'm Rob Sadow, CEO and co-founder at Scoop and host of the Flex Perspectives podcast. A huge thank you to all of our fantastic guests and to our listeners who have made the podcast such a hit this year. Here are some of my favorite clips from the past year's recordings. Hope you enjoy.
When companies are like, everyone back in the office 5 days a week, 9 to 5, like we're checking you Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock, that is basically saying, it's basically putting up a giant middle finger to anybody that is like, I want to be here, but I need some flexibility. And the people that are saying that are largely women. So you can't be a company that says, I care about having more women in the C-suite. I care about developing our senior female talent. And then also say, well, we won't have any flexibility. You just can't have those two things exist in the same space.
There are trends right now. You hear from some firms saying managers are getting tough. They're telling employees, look, the economy's turning down. You got to come back in. We're going to give you, unless you do that, you should say goodbye to your job. That's true. But on the other hand, I'm also hearing from firms that saying, if there's a recession, I'm going to get rid of my office because there's one way to cut costs. So in the aggregate data, as you mentioned, the Castle data, the Sway data, the census data, all three of them, we see actually days work from home or days in the office, which is kind of the inverse of that. It's just flatline. So I think 2.5 days a week is roughly here to stay. And, that tells you, that matches up with my hearing that the most common pattern is 3, but it's not always perfectly enforced.
It's not about just how often you get together. It's why do we get together? What's the purpose of coming together? For our team, it was a quarterly cadence around relationship building. We would spend much more time just thinking about and understanding one another, meals together, exercises to build teamwork, than planning out the next quarter. For other organizations, that might be what's the one day a week when we do our sprint planning or our pipeline reviews, when we want people to come together for that. But figuring out why is much more important than figuring out when.
So there's research going back to the 1970s by Tom Allen, who showed that the in-office serendipitous communication is restricted to 25 meters of where we are based, which means that, you are talking to the same 8 people every day. So sales is talking to sales, junior people are speaking to junior people. So it is a homophily effect that we observe in the office or in the offsite. And to break that homophily effect, we need to structure something pretty intentionally in a small group such that dissimilar people connect.
The thing that I have found in I don't know what it feels like for you, Rob, but for us at Castle or for my friends or my clients who run companies, I think we generally want people back in the office. And it feels like it's an important thing that's been missing for how all the studies have been done about productivity and all that, which I know is true. But there's also attachment and engagement to people in the company or to the company itself or to how people collaborate, how people innovate, that are the softer parts of that.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, you can subscribe on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. Please also consider giving us a rating or leaving a review, as that helps other listeners find the podcast. For more Flex Index content, including past episodes, our Flex Index newsletter, and monthly research reports, visit flex.scoopforwork.com. See you next time.